Hi, I'm Arlen Geyer. I am constantly making tests with my camera. Sometimes they are tests of flash exposures, sometimes they're tests of other sorts of exposure issues, sometimes they're tests of uh, depth of field. They're all kinds of things. And of course, sometimes those exposures come out not being very good. And an advantage of having done that is I end up with some exposures that are not very good, which I can then use for other kinds of tests. In this case, I'd like to use the group of badly exposed images in here to demonstrate the process of using sync settings in the develop module. So in order to do that, I'm going to start by putting one image into the develop module and adjust it to be reasonably decent. And I'm looking over at the histogram here and basically start out by moving it up so that I have a good solid highlight, and then, as I so often do, I then back down the highlight until I get a nice amount of detail in the highlight. And that's all I'm going to do on this. So I'm now going to go back to the library, and I have adjusted that one image, and now I'm going to select a whole bunch of images that are relatively similar to that. So I'm holding the Shift key down, I click over here. Now I'm going to shift on a PC to the Control key. I think on a Mac it's the Command key, because I don't want to get those two in there because they're pretty good to begin with. And I'm going to add all of these other badly exposed images to this group right here. And I'm in the library, and down at the bottom of the library here, an option of sync settings. I'm going to click that, and that brings up this dialog that if you have done any presets, any develop module presets, then you are familiar with this particular screen. But I'm going to start off by checking none, and the only adjustment I made was to exposure. So I'm going to click on exposure and then go to synchronize. Now the first image that was selected there was the one that is my target. Everything else after that is sort of a secondary select, and so it will apply what I did to this one to all of those other ones, and you can see them all adjusting. Now the adjustment may not be perfect on all of them because it's adjusting them to exactly what I did on that first one. But if we take a look at this one, you can see it's pretty close. I'm going to open up the film strip here, and this next one is fairly close. These are not great images, but of course we knew that because these are just tests of something. I don't even remember what they're tests of at this point. But anyway, so you can see that the images have gotten a whole lot better, and they have exactly the same adjustment as this first one. So if I go to this and I look at the develop module, you can see that I did a plus 2.86. So if I go back here and look at, for example, this one, go to the develop module, you can see that the exposure is 2.86. Every one of those will have exactly that same exposure adjustment. And because the only adjustment I made was to exposure, that's the only thing that got adjusted in those. So that's the way you can use sync settings to adjust a lot of different images to the same as a particular one. Now this is essentially the same concept you would use in creating a develop module preset. The difference is I didn't have to actually create a preset to do this. I just adjusted one, went back to the library module, selected, and with that one already selected, I then selected all the other ones that are similar and then went to sync settings. That's how you do that. Thanks.